from the candidate applicants. You've heard from us, you've heard from the residents, now we'd like to hear from you. The process will be in alphabetical order, except for Ms. Nancy Dawkins, I've been told, has a ride and needs to go, and if it's all right with the body, I would like to allow her to go first. Beyond that, we'll be appearing in alphabetical order. You'll have 5 minutes to speak uninterrupted. You do not need to use that full 5 minutes if you do not wish. Do not assume that everybody has memorized your resume. So please feel free to, tell us why you want to serve and in what capacity, for what duration, and whatever you feel is relevant for us to help make this decision at this point. So with that, I'm hoping Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla joins us shortly.
Well, let me add this, Commissioner. There are people here that are known by all of us in the whole city. So those that want to speak are the only ones that have to speak. It's not a must that everyone must speak. If the candidate wants to speak, it's up to them. If they don't and let their record stand, it's fine too. So.
Of course. We do have a full dais at this point, as full as it can be under these circumstances. Ms. Dawkins, we'd love to hear from you.
Good afternoon. My name is Nancy S. Dawkins. And I came down here really to see what was happening. And when I came, I went to the clerk's office and she asked me if I was a candidate or if I came to be appointed or what have you. And so I said, I really came to hear what was going on. But since I got down here, I've been hearing so much, I says I'll apply for the candidate if I am appointed. I've been in this community now over 60 years, and I know the district very well. To the 4 gentlemen, honorable commissioner, thank you for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to speak. If I am appointed or if I am in any way can do anything to those who are running in District 5. I am interested in senior citizens. I am interested in education. I'm interested in housing for all people. And I'm also interested in crime in the neighborhood. And I've done a lot to help the city because I have really been on several committees down here and helping to help with crime in the committee. I am interested in all in the district, not just a few. And therefore, if there is anything that I can do to help District 5, I am willing to do it. If you work in unity, you could get things done. One person can't do everything, and you need help. I need to help you. And if in District 5, if we have unity, then our Maker would be proud, and to the Maker, God would be the glory. Thank you.
Well, it's just like a statement that I like to make. Mrs. Dawkins, your late husband, Miller, is smiling happily, being very, very proud of you in the presentation you made here today. You're the youngest out of the whole group that's here, and you have set the foundation and the tone, I think, for the rest of the speakers that are aspiring. I thank you very, very much for having the courage, the stamina to come here today and offer yourself, not just for your community in District 5, but for this whole city. Because at the end of the day, District 5 Commissioner votes and matters for the whole city, not just District 5. So God bless you, ma'am. If there's one person, that no one, absolutely no one should have any doubts, that's here to serve, that's got roots deeper in Miami and in District 5 than anyone that I could think of, is Nancy Dawkins. You remind me of another past colleague that came here and served for the remaining term that we had of the empty seat, Thelma Gibson.
Thelma Gibson.
Commissioner that made us proud, and another one that made her late husband proud. So, ma'am, God bless you. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very touched by your presence here. Thank you.
Ms. Dawkins, welcome. I'm real glad to see you here. And we know each other for a long time, just as Commissioner Crowley. And I've been to your house many times when Miller was alive, and we had a lot of conversations. And I'm going to ask everybody: would you be interested in serving for the remaining of the term as a caretaker or interim commissioner? Ms. Dawkins. Okay, you heard me. Okay. All right. Okay.
Is there a response?
Yes.
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 She said yes.
You said yes.
Now in alphabetical order, Mr. Francois Junior Alexandre.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for taking the time to allow democracy to foster. Thank you also, Vice Chair, for what I didn't really want to wear, but I wear it now, the bikini mask. Michael Clarkson said make sure to give you thanks. We made sure all the bikini masks was passed all the way around from March when we heard of COVID, and it was very important and instrumental. So thank you for those masks that you gave us. My name is Francois Alexandre. I was born in IET, but I was raised here in South Florida. Although I did my school in Broward County, I have family in TIET. TIET is also called Little Haiti. That is the birthplace, that is the Mecca of the boat people, the ones who came in the 60s and late 70s. Now, the reason why I start off like this is because I want to let you know how important it is to advance the value and the principles of the people of District 5. Within the last 10 years or so, I've called District 5 my home. And the work that I've been doing in District 5 are so important to the transformation, are so important to the new beginning, the new dawn. I did my school here at Florida International University. I graduated in 2016. I majored in international relations also minored in mass communication. And ever since then, I've taken my skill set in the nonprofit sector of Miami and been focused around New Florida Majority, FARM, all of the nonprofits that you guys are at this point in time are donating to. I've been a part of and also helping to write policy. And I give thanks for the folks who come here to speak on my behalf, and I definitely appreciate it. And I like to present something that's called post-traumatic growth, and I like to read a passage from it about what it means and what it is. Post-traumatic growth, and this is an AP reading, that says post-traumatic growth is a theory that explains the kind of transformation following trauma. It was developed by psychologist Richard Tedeschi, PhD, and Lawrence Calhoun, PhD, in the mid-1990s. Now, mind you, this is something that's been around here for a long time, ancient. But it was developed by these gentlemen. It's further developed by these gentlemen in the 1990s. This is something that occurred naturally, but this is also something that can be socially engineered. It is an impact and in trauma that happens in somebody's lives. And as opposed to taking what they call the left way out, blaming the system, blaming this and blaming that, you turn that into positivity. And this is what happened to me 7 years ago. As I lived in the city of Miami and different places. I lived in downtown. 7 years ago, when the Heat celebrated, I went down there with a couple of my friends and celebrated, and I didn't make it back home. I'm still fighting that. But I'm not angry at the city. Just like my good friend Albert said here, I'm not angry at the city. I'm angry at what happened to me that night, and there's no accountability for it. So for me, what I say today is that I embarked on a journey to be the District 5 City Commission. I respect the work of Keon Hardeman. I think he's a bright brother. I also think that Keon Hardeman did not penetrate the community the way he's supposed to. And I'm the guy with the hoe in my hand that wants to turn the soil up and bring something that's here about anew. And that new beginning and that new dawn is the transformation of community and government. To be able to bring community to government and say that we are represented by the people. The charter spoke in regards to you guys having to make a very important decision. And that decision is to make sure that somebody can carry out the notion of District 5, making sure that that person is held accountable to the people of District 5, the people that are forgotten about, not the people that we know that has the names, not the people we know at the end of the day has the means, but the people every night that I hear gunshots, the people every night that I hear tires squeaking because they think that TIET is a gentrified place, so now they can come at 3 o'clock in the morning and do their car racing. So I'm here because I'm the new beginning and something that I think that you guys should give me a chance. 7 years ago from now, this dais peaked Keon Hardeman at 30 years old. And I'm here now to let you guys know that I will do my best to serve the residents of District 5 under the unification of every person here, as long as we can do that together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss, are there any questions for Monsieur Francois?
Well, is there any questions for me at this point? Because the most important people are here at this point in time that has District 5, not necessarily best interest, but that can do something for District 5, is you guys. And you all have my resume at your hand. And I say this, I may not be the guy that has the best experience or the tenure, but what I do have is the fire in my belly, knowing that I'm standing right here, right now, and my son Malachi is at Jackson Hospital that can't breathe. But I'm here because the will of the people brought me here in these days. And this is not a job. This is a lifestyle, about where the lifestyle needs to be just.
Thank you.
So I'm here. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes, would you like me just to ask each person as they finish what their intentions are? So obviously, some of the people on this dais feel it very important that whoever, if there is an appointment, that it is someone who is willing to step down after that year and not run, even though we legally cannot bind you to that. What is your intention with this seat?
There's certain clause, like developers. We can't uphold developers to any standard except for good faith and best efforts. We've tried it many times, even in my district. You know, we can't get them to commit to anything else except for the fact that whatever zoning and PZAP said, that's what they're going to do by good faith and best effort. At this point in time, I am at the mercy of the commission and the will of the people. So whatever the charter advises you all to do,
Yep.
that's what I'm here to do.
Understood.
Thank you.
Thank you for your honesty. Appreciate it.
Francois,
Yes, sir.
I'm very pleased to see you here today because through a couple of our city employees, the city, I believe, did you wrong, and that you have not lost your faith in the process speaks volumes. I'm happy to see that a new generation is standing up to serve the city. I do believe from the bottom of my heart that you truly have the best interests of our city and your community in District 5 at heart. I'm very pleased that you applied to be a candidate.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm also very pleased with all you guys here, in particular Commissioner Correa and Mr. Reyes, especially how you guys go back and forth about your constituents and making sure that the lower of the masses, the small businesses, can also sit at the table with the big boys. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Our next applicant candidate is Jackie Collier.
When I wrote this speech, it was good morning, but I guess now it's good afternoon to everyone. Good to be here, good to see you. Wanted to start off by saying that I want to thank each of you for taking all of this time to go through this process and for all of us who are here. I want to say thanks. Can I do this to my husband? I know you're listening, Roy. How are you? And for all my friends, guests, and observers, and all the folks who are interested in this and who are here because they want to know and listening because they care about the city of Miami. And I want to say thank you to all the other 15 applicants because it takes a lot to do this. It takes a lot to come up and be here. And I'm glad that all of us are here to do this. So thank you for putting your hat in the ring. I also want to say to you that only the 15 of us, including Ms. Dawkins, did not have a video crew that came in and did videos for us. Nor did we have a $200,000 budget to be able to, be ready for this. And none of the 15 of us had, preparation for a year. So, that being said, I got into this because my community asked me to. I was born to migrants from South Carolina. My parents moved to Miami when I was 6 months old at my request, and we moved to District 5. I lived in Overtown, Liberty Square, Liberty City, Allapattah, and now Little Haiti. I have borne witness to the tragedy and triumphs of my friends and neighbors. I graduated from Edison Senior High School, went to college back in South Carolina, and I'm a doctoral candidate right now at the University of Miami. I have a background in higher education and social work administration. My career spans multiple programmatic expertise. I am fluent in most social services, juvenile justice, education, behavioral health, workforce and social service prevention programs. I pride myself in being a good listener who follows through on task, seeking win-win-win solutions. What I've learned about District 5 is that it is a vibrant and diverse community of neighborhoods ranging from those with lots to those with a lot less. Sections of D5 are serene and safe. Others are sections that are not so much. D5 was ground zero to one of the most devastating riots in Miami, the McDuffie riots. Some of us were there. Some of us still have the scars from that devastating riot. It was also once the home of blight and despair, but it is also the cradle of the city of Miami's civil rights struggle. Where there was once a wall on 12th Avenue, there is now a bridge that leads to the greater part of Miami. Where there was once blight, infrastructure has been installed that now affords its residents to be able to connect to Wi-Fi and broadband and join the world of e-commerce. But the residents who live in D5 most often ask if all this progress is for them, or is it for others who are thought to be more worthy and who don't look like them. D5 residents do not want to lose their homes in the tangled, unsafe structures bureaucracy. The residents of D5 are smart, creative, and resourceful, seeking ways to improve their lives. They don't want government to do everything for them. And as Karen Cartwright from Overtown often says, we want what is just fair and equitable, treatment in contracting opportunities that create jobs, jobs, jobs in D5. We just want fair and equitable treatment in safety as it relates to the police. We just want fair and equitable treatment so that gentrification does not swallow us up and leave us out. We want the ability to remain in the community that we love. I seek to become the passionate, and I will say this, I seek to become the passionate placeholder for District 5 because I love this community. And if that is what it takes for this community to have the opportunity to be and live in integrity and have a sense of purpose and worth, I will make that sacrifice. So the rest of you don't have to do that. So I want you to know that I can hit the ground running. I have been administrator with over 1,400 people serving under me. I have led a budget of over $450 million. I have done the right thing in this community. I have done the right thing for everyone that I work with and serve. And I promise you that I will do the right thing for District 5, and I will do the right thing for this community.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Collier?
Yeah, placeholder. Yes.
Ms. Coiler, thank you very much for such a fine presentation. You have been as well-spoken and as elegant as anybody that I ever could think has come through here. Certainly much better spoken and much more elegant than these four white boys that are here that Commissioner Diaz-Portillo was so worried about.
The four white boys.
No, wait a minute.
Because you know why?
Hey, listen, get me out.
We are four white boys, by the way.
Get me out of that white boy thing. I have been called everything.
You're a white old man.
Wait a minute. I've been called Speak, F Cuban, and all that. I'm not white, I'm Cuban.
Thank you. Any other
Don't call me
questions?
white boy.
But you're
Only
not,
one boy here, one white boy.
but you're not a proud white boy, right?
Of course not.
Okay.
Of course not.
Any other questions for Ms. Collier? I will.
No, I'm very impressed with her background.
Yes,
District 5, should feel extremely proud with the
Proud.
kind of candidates that I've heard of so far.
That's right.
Yes.
And very heartfelt, and I know that you were speaking from your heart.
Truly, I wish that some of our other districts would have candidates as qualified and as elegant as the ones that I've been hearing
Yes.
from so far in District 5.
Next is Zico Fremont, please.
Good afternoon. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the people of District 5. Thank you, Commissioners, City Clerk, and City employees, and everyone here for giving us your time today. My name is Zico Fremont. I was born and raised in this beautiful, diverse city. I've witnessed the best times and the worst times. I'm running because I want to bring about real change. I want to support the transit systems, clean up our environment, and provide financial situations for families throughout this district that have been impacted by COVID-19. I ask you to consider me as a candidate for District 5 Commissioner to serve my community. As District 5 City Commissioner, my first responsibility is the security and prosperity of our district. We the people rightly put our district first. In politics and in life, ignorance is not a virtue. We believe in rational thought, experimentation, and the capacity of informed citizens to master our faith. Have faith in democracy. Look, if you want to change this district for the better, start participating. For example, a lot of people in their minds right now is the growing inequality in our district. The top earners live in the east of District 5 by home prices, new construction, and business companies. Wages aren't enough for hardworking families. Wages aren't rising enough for hardworking families. Now, if you want to reverse those trends, we need to build a budget that truly works for everybody. And if that doesn't happen, then it's because we didn't vote or we don't care. Apathy has consequences. Be true to what you say when you vote. While we live in this COVID pandemic era, time will tell who we are. What are we here to do? We are fortunate to be alive at this time in history. We're going to keep District 5 safe. We're going to keep the prosperity in District 5. Thank you, and God bless America.
Thank you, Mr. Fremont. Any questions?
Yes, I have the same question that I am asking everybody. Would you be willing to be an interim caretaker and not running with the commitment that not to run if you're appointed? Or you plan on running for the, if there is an election, I mean, a November election?
I plan to be intern, and if the people wants to vote, I will gladly be a candidate. So,
Okay, that answered the question. You want to be a candidate, and that is your right,
thank you.
okay?
All right, guys.
Thank you very much. Mr. Michael Hepburn.
All right. Good afternoon again, Commissioners. This time I'm actually going to try to stick to my script. But my name is Michael A. Hepburn. I am, just to give you some context to why I'm here, I'm actually one of the gentlemen in the room, well, actually not all of us in the room, but I am a candidate to become the next City of Miami Commissioner for District 5. So late last year, I actually conducted a listening tour when I was exploring the ideal of how I can be of service. That went into the new year, and that's when I definitely made a decision that I will be running to represent my hometown, my home city, my district. Then COVID hit, and as you know, that has put us in a very serious predicament as far as throughout our whole city, our state, our country. So my transition from running a campaign shifted to what can I do to help our people? So instead of knocking on doors or making phone calls in order to talk about running for office, we literally shifted our efforts to make sure we was passing out PPE and hand sanitizer and things like that. I was educating people about, of course, voting in that upcoming August primary election so their voices can be heard, and also made sure that we was hopefully increasing voter turnout throughout our whole state through some of the initiatives that I was pushing so people can vote in November. During that time, a lot of our residents did not understand the concept of what happens when Commissioner Keon Hardeman leaves. So in a sense, we also use that time to educate them that the charter literally gives our city, two choices. One, the commissioners can either choose to appoint after that vacancy occurs, or two, the commission can call for a special election. So during those conversations, like I was telling some of the commissioners before that had a chance to meet me, and then I know for the other commissioners, I'm the one that's been sending all the emails. We literally had a very diverse conversation from, I've been to every precinct within our district. Over just the last 5 months, I've been to 5,000 households personally, passing out the baggies that we had our items in and having these conversations. And the majority I'm telling you, the overwhelming majority of the residents, after being educated about the two options, told me they would like to vote. So let me go to the script. So over the last 10 days, I promised that I would try my best to keep my promise to what they told me, and since our voters, to advocate on their behalf for the city that we all love. I have tried to advocate strongly on behalf of so many to ensure that you understood how crucial this decision really is, and the message that it will send to the people you represent, as well as the ones that I'm striving to represent. On behalf of the people that I am campaigning hard to serve one day as their next city commissioner, I am asking you all to call for a special election so our residents can be the ones to vote for who will represent them. However, I know from my past experiences working within multiple capacities of public service and my understanding of how politics and government works, that I fully understand the power rests in your hands to make this decision. So during my former days negotiating player marketing contracts for some of the biggest NFL players that you know, my guiding principle was always to be a consensus builder. And I worked my tail off to make sure that my clients and the corporate sponsors that we were deal making with both walked away from the table feeling like they both won, right? Because I believe that everybody should win. So, commissioners, I just want to let you know, if you do not call for a special election, I have also worked very hard to make sure that our district and the commission still can walk away proud of the decision that has occurred. I don't know why you would, but if our commission choose to not follow the will of our people and move to appoint instead, I am asking that I am appointed to serve out the remaining term of former Commissioner Hardeman. I am prepared for this opportunity. I am ready to lead today. And I can assure you that I will try my best to be a great ally, to push forward rehabbing and preserving and developing affordable housing, to spearhead safe and sustainable communities all throughout our neighborhood, to make sure that we are focusing on economic and workforce development for all of us. Because I stand here for my generation. I stand here to bring my generation perspective in a record of achievement, work experience, passion, and community building that I know is needed in our district and will serve as a great asset to our Miami Commission. So like I said before, if our Miami Commission does not call for a special election, I am asking you for the chance to serve the community that made me who I am today as the next City of Miami Commissioner from District 5. And I'll yield if I have any time left for questions. Sorry about that.
Well, I have the same question. If you are appointed, could we, or you accept to be an interim until the November election and not be a candidate? Or
No, I would definitely be running for re-election if I was appointed.
And I'm glad you are.
So, any other questions? Sure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Renita Holmes.
Good morning, Commissioners, Administration, each and every one of you wonderful candidates and friends and neighbors. I'm honored to be here, and today I stepped up to the challenge of citizen participation. Because we've been so limited in our great city, which I consider to be quite a lady, and you gentlemen to be the guardians of. I had the benefits of having the tutorage and the mentoring of great women and a lot of the candidates that are here. Jackie Collier, I worked in her campaigns. I've been on the tutorage before I even know that she was politically inclined. Francois in the grassroots, Grady Muhammad on policies and programming. I know our former Commissioner Michelle Spence-Jones adopted some of the programs, assisted like Brothers, the same turned out to be Circle of Brotherhood, programs that I initiated. So I've done my contribution in running behind, along with others. I benefit from their education, and I decided to step in.
Ms. Holmes, for your safety, if you wouldn't mind covering up.
I do, I'm sorry. Some of us are, and that's another thing when it comes to COVID, some of us are already disabled when we began, even as candidates. Some of us can't breathe. And if you look at the rules, it allows you to take it down every now and then because I have COPD. You can't actually breathe out and talk without some type of way to inhale a needed amount of oxygen. So if you see me pull it down, that's only because.
For your safety.
And you do have disinfectant.
Understood.
Okay, so along with that is that I've learned from each and every one. Mr. Robert Malone, for years, and he had the ability to debate with me. Some of you have the ability to debate with me. I've served outside of my community and into your community. Commissioner Reyes, Croy, I knew about you from Mother Georgia Jones because she was my greatest mentor. After Lee Range and George Jones actually sat on the bed and told me things, because I'm a policy person. You can get into personalities, and my father always taught me about the P-Funk of life. Sometimes people's personalities and principles can impede your participation or progress in certain programs and politics. How'd you like that one? But it's true. The perception can be that it's all about power and influence. Ms. Christine King had the ability to talk to me when I wouldn't talk to any of our other board members, and we were at home as an entrepreneur at MLK ADC. But when it comes to the facts, when it comes to leadership, you got to deal with what's real. Being an entrepreneur, being an African-American inner-city woman, dealing with violence, wanting to be a first-time home buyer, getting my education here, a family of 10, 11 children, working with children in prison ministry. Done all of that, but having the ability to run down here and attend meetings for 2 minutes to talk about my influence as a voter, my ability to relate and identify to other African-American women or female employees, I've done that. I've put in my time, at least 4,000 hours a year for the last several years. County and city, not in that cumulative amount. Really doing my best to get in law school, but what I really came here before, because I like to see what people say people do. When they talk about reaching down and reaching citizens like myself and saying a policy worked or a program worked, I can say I know because I'm having that experience, or I had that experience. I benefit from that experience. I benefit from that policy. Going to state legislator makes your change. One of the first legislators that I lobbied to you. So I'm work in progress. I progress because of the work, but experience is the best teacher. You can have all the book learned experience, $7 million of poverty money, but when the $1 poverty money gets to me, that says we're a success. Respecting the ability, like Commissioner Carollo, to speak truth to power. Whether everybody agrees, you might be the only one, but you know what you know. And have the courage and the tenacity and the morality to stand up and make that change. That's me, just like any other woman in here. I would like the ability to step in so that there's no conflict for any. I don't think that it's only one woman, or African-American woman. There are many of us that have had years of experience in receiving these funds, distributing these funds, and overseeing these funds, but have no conflict about it. I don't have a dog in the race, but I've been dogged out because this race has not had the opportunity to represent, and that's the African-American inner-city female. It's been a long time since we added some femininity to the oversight of this great city. They talk about sister cities. I haven't seen Miami give it back to us the way that we like to have it, nor give us the opportunity to represent with that insight, with that influence, with that cultural diversity, and with that fairness. There were promises made to Atherley Range that she told a lot of us that have not yet benefited from, and we need to continue. There are things that are on board from the last agenda before COVID that we did not do. A lot of us, our candidates, don't even know what that was. Did not see that agenda. So you can't start all over. So that's why I was appointed. But I do have the commitment to running for office. I've seen so many in this great United States, as well as this county and this state, start out at beginnings, particularly in this season, start out because they know better and they have that courage and commitment. But do they have the policy experience? Do they have the patterns and trends to understand where we have not mapped over things? Do they know where we began some things and haven't finished? And are they willing to challenge someone without having a bunch of others involved? You don't have any question about that with me. But I thank you for listening, and I thank these wonderful people for stepping up. But if you really want to challenge yourselves. How long has it been since you actually had a real citizen that had nothing but 2 minutes that you can just cut them off, ask you some real policy questions, give you some real insight, and make some great changes and commitment? I'll yield to you now for any questions that you may have. I prefer that you take a look at my resume, because it's easy to talk trash from this side of the diocese, but up there, I want you to know, I actually took Toastmasters for 2 years so that I could be ready, willing, and able to communicate with you on your level.
Thank you, Madam Holmes. Questions?
Yeah, Renita, we known each other for
Yes, sir.
more than I can remember. And I have the same question to you. If you're willing to be an interim, appointed and only for the term that ends on November without running for office.
Yes, sir. My full commitment to perform duty if appointed and to continue to run as a well-qualified candidate to
But
represent
you
myself.
will run again, or will you
I
stop?
most definitely would run again.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, Madam Holmes. Grady Eugene Howard, please. Is Grady here?
Good afternoon, Mr. Vice Chair, Commissioners. My name is Grady Eugene Howard, better known as Grady Muhammad. I can only assure you of one thing. District 5 needs representation, and it needs it now. The housing pandemic will not stop. The need for home ownership is greater now than it's ever been before, Commissioner Carollo. The need to help residents, businesses, and organizations need help now. An election is not going to help us. You all have an opportunity to do one thing, your constitutional duty, to either appoint, and if you choose not to appoint, then a special election will be called, and that would be a derelict of duty to you all, because the economic impact to the city that's in a COVID-19 pandemic, we cannot afford to continue to spend resources that we don't have, and the resources that we do have, we have to prioritize them, as we have done. We have Block 55 that's going to be coming up through the CRA. We have the $83 million that's still left that we need to look at and doing home ownership. Not all of these, what we're talking about, rental properties, affordable housing. Affordable for who? They're market rate properties. Out of 100 units, maybe 20 units are affordable and the rest of them are market rate, but we're giving up our land. We're giving up everything to the developers, and we get nothing back in return under the auspices of a promise. We're upzoning most developments, and we're getting peanuts in return. We have in District 5 coming up soon, whether it's going to be Eastside Ridge or the Magic City development. These are important issues that we have. Block 55 in Overtown, the redevelopment. We have issues that we must confront now. I'm ready to hit the ground, to work with my colleagues, to be able to help this commission, help District 5 residents, organizations, and businesses, the homeowners, and more importantly, be a good commissioner for District 5, period. We need help, but you need someone like myself and others to hit the ground running. You don't need a learning curve. I'm a businessman, been a community activist. I've lived in Liberty City. I'm a towner for life. I live in Little Haiti now. I lived at 570 Northeast 69th Street. Across the street from this old Starbucks, now it's a Chase gas station, but it was a BP gas station. It's a Chase Bank now. So I've lived in the district. I haven't lived in Shorecrest, but I know the needs, because District 5 is the most diverse district in the city of Miami. And we need someone who can represent all of District 5 residents, businesses, organizations, period. And I think I am the candidate to be able to best hit the ground running and to do that. Commissioners, you all don't have to ask me. I'm going to answer your question. I won't be a candidate for District 5. So if you choose to appoint me, I'll be your caretaker, but I'll be the best damn commissioner District 5 has ever had on an interim basis, because the needs are still there. And I worked as a community organizer, a businessman, and more importantly, I ran nonprofits. So I have the gamut of it, but more importantly, I have the heart, the compassion, the love, and I'm a lifelong District 5 resident. And again, commissioners, if you choose to appoint me, I'll do the best that I can to be a caretaker commissioner, but I'll do the best that I can to still be the best District 5 to work with you, my colleagues. Thank you. If there's any questions.
Questions?
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Andre Joyce, please.
Good evening, Commissioners. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to come before the dais and share my vision and why I think it would be a good idea if I'm appointed as caretaker for the community. Someone asked me last week, Andre, why do you want to be the appointed person to represent District 5? My response was very simple. I'm determined to make a difference in the community, in District 5, and why not now? Because this is the best time. We have an outgoing commissioner, we have a vacancy. Should I be appointed as the caretaker for the community, it's only going to be an appointment, and it's only going to be an appointment for just one term, because I have no interest in seeking public office at the level where I have to run for office during the election. I honestly feel that a lot can be done during that time to set the groundwork for the next person that would take on the position as commissioner. Each community inside of District 5 has its own needs. Specifically, my goal is to be the catalyst for change to help them bridge that goal. I love and have a passion for bringing people and groups together. I think it's necessary that this is the best time to find out the needs and the concerns of the various communities that's out there, help them continue with their vision, and those communities that are embracing on new opportunities, give them the tools that they need in order to support them to help their communities become vibrant. Working as vice chair of the Community Advisory Board has allowed me the opportunity to work with city government to actually see how city of Miami government works. In addition to that, I think I'm a very good decision maker, and I want to be that person to be that catalyst for change. I know that here each candidate bring their own wealth of knowledge and experience to the table. If appointed, I would look forward to working with them all to make sure that there will be a smooth transition. I've learned from a lot of individuals that are here. I've had the opportunity to work with Jackie. I've been working in the community for years. I currently work for Broward County as the director for residential and homeless for Broward County. I think that there's a need to have someone that's willing to be that catalyst, that's willing to be that point person, that's going to hold the district till such time an election can be held, and the playing field is even for all those individuals that are there, so they can make, so that the candidates don't, so this election will not be one-sided. I'm willing to be that person. I'm willing to make a difference. I'm willing to be that point person. Some say, well, do you have anything to gain? No, I don't have anything to gain. I just want to see District 5 continue to thrive. My work speaks for itself. You have my resume. You can reach out to any employee I've ever had. And one thing they'll definitely tell you that Andre has always served. He's always done his very best, because I learned from my father, who's been my greatest mentor. Because I asked him one time when he was investing in this community, why? He said, you have to invest in your community. He said, some of the best things you can do, invest in your family, invest in community, and invest in people in order to make a difference. I often say this here. I have 3 things that I have to keep.
my name, my word, and my credit. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Questions?
He answered the question. He said that he will be, his run is to be a caretaker.
You know, are you, and you're currently employed at Broward, with Broward? Yes. And that's with Broward County? Yes. Thank you. Ms. Christine King,
Does he live in Broward County?
but your residence is in D5?
Yes, my residence is D5. I've been here for about 54 years.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am the Christine King. I would like to establish for the record when my love of service began. I volunteered for the late County Commissioner James C. Burke, assisting in cleaning up the district that at the time was littered with abandoned cars and overgrown lots. I managed with no experience but lots of chutzpah to get the lots cleared and the cars removed. I thought to myself, I can do this for a living, and a public servant was born. Long before I met Keon Hardeman. During my tenure with Commissioner Burke, I met Jaquetta Collier, whom I consider a friend and who encouraged me to run for this seat. My love of community and service did not evolve because of a vacancy, but I stand before you today because of it. I was born in Guyana. My parents moved to Miami when I was around 3 or 4. I attended day nursery in what is now the Design District. My father worked at Victor Piano, Jalco, and Jackson Byron's. Our home was located on 51st Street. My father took me to Carvel Ice Cream, located on 54th Street and 7th Avenue, every day after school. I attended Allapattah Elementary School. Coach Crow taught me how to play tennis at Moore Park, and I went to summer camp at Moore Park and participated in the free lunch program. Sadly, my parents divorced. My mother had no family in this country. Her best friend, Rosella Nottage, took us in. We lived on 38th Street and 10th Avenue. As you were told, I played with Jackie Bell's grandson. My roots are deep. I am qualified to serve this district. I graduated from Miami-Dade Community College, Barry University, and I received my law degree from Nova Southeastern University. I worked for Miami-Dade County Community Action Agency. I am the president and CEO of the Martin Luther King Economic Development Corporation, and I am an attorney. The Bible says, do not forsake your friends. I am proud to say Keon Hardeman is my friend. He has served our community with dignity, integrity, and has accomplished much. The MLK Kitchen Incubator was born of funding from the Anti-Poverty Initiative. Under my leadership, not only has the MLK Kitchen Incubator helped establish 5 culinary businesses and has created more than 20 jobs, the MLK Kitchen Incubator made it possible to respond to the food insecurity created by the pandemic. Since March, the MLK Kitchen has served 1,500 hot meals every week to our seniors. The MLK Kitchen Incubator is a testament of good government and great leadership. I am not discouraged by the politics of serving, nor am I affected by untruths or bad press. My record speaks for itself. Everyone that spoke on my behalf today did so because they believe in me. As you have heard, I have the support of clergy, community leaders, business owners, neighbors, and friends. I have earned the kindnesses expressed here today. I do not stand here before you asking for you to appoint me. I am asking you to listen. Listen to your colleague who was elected to serve the residents of District 5 and knows what is best for his district. Listen to the leaders of District 5 who expressed their support for me. I am asking you to listen to the residents, my friends, and neighbors who have spoken to you today in support of me fulfilling the vacancy created by County Commissioner Hardeman. There's an old saying, everyone is not telling the same lie. Respectfully, commissioners, it is not your job to decide what is best for District 5. It is the responsibility of its citizenry. The notion of a caretaker, while good-intentioned, is not legally enforceable and accomplishes the very thing you are attempting to prevent. Advancing the notion of appointing a caretaker disenfranchises the person's legal right to run for office. If equity and neutrality is truly what you seek for District 5, then your only option is to allow the residents of the district to vote for Commissioner Hardeman's successor. This body proclaimed that you wanted to hear from the community, but when you did, you found fault with, of all things, a background. What about their messages? Never mind more than half of the video comments did not have the same background, or that the people like Jackie Bell and Tangela Sears appeared in person to tell you their choice for a successor. It is disingenuous of you to criticize my efforts thus far, as all of you have been candidate yourselves. I am beholden to the community. Full stop.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Questions?
Christine. No, I have to say that I met Christina and we talked and I was very impressed with it. I'm still am. And you are a tremendous candidate. I know you will be, it will be a great candidate for this when the election comes. I don't have no doubt that you're a very strong candidate. And you have a lot of, in your favor, you have worked a lot, but so there are a lot of good candidates here today, a lot of good candidates. And that's one thing that I'm pleased, that District 5 has so many people that they're willing to serve and they are willing to even sacrifice, as Jackie has said. I'll take the position and then I wouldn't run. And nobody is putting a gun to her head. The gentleman said the same thing, you see. And I am, District 5 is going to be well represented because it has a lot of residents that they are willing to serve and they're willing to sacrifice for it. And you should be proud, all of you should be proud of yourself.
Christina, can you repeat that part about the Bible, about forsaken?
The Bible says, do not forsake your friends.
I just wanted to make sure everybody up here heard it again.
Any other comments or questions for Ms. King? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Reverend Lincoln, please.
Board of Commissioners, I think you folks have already read my platform and you know who I am. I am a resident in Overtown for 22 years, living in the beach, told that no one want to come to Overtown, and I decide to come. Trying to work with 5 African commissioners to see how we can make changes in Overtown with no success. Overtown has been blighted, slum, decadent, all that I can say of Overtown for decades prior to the eminent domain in the 60s. And the commissioners do nothing about it. And if anyone drives through Overtown, you would see the condition we are living in there. Bus stops are becoming parks. Lotus House easement is like 24 feet. The shopping center easement is another 24 feet where these residents of Overtown consider it a park for drinking, urinating, and defecating. And you could tell Keon Hardeman that all along, he don't care. Neither does the chief, the commander. Joseph, police commander. Neither the Net Office. Nobody cares. And that have behooved me now, living so long in Overtown, with all the experience I have, to run for commissioner. And I have the power to lead. I have the solution to the problem. I have sent many emails to Keon Hardiman, and he have not responded. Keon Hardiman did not have the capacity to request money from CIP. I went to CIP and I asked why nothing is done in the north of 14th Street in Overtown. He said, your commissioner never requested anything. So he didn't do a good job in Overtown, period. Now, from what I heard Christine King have said, Billy Hardiman and Keon have groomed her, and all the support she had today, it was all because of Keon Hardiman. It's not because of, and then she was pushed to do what she did. The amount of donation they received also was from Keon Hardiman's support. But anyhow, I'm not critiquing that. I'm saying that I am the perfect candidate. I am running as a humanist and a practicalist. I will be working with the people, and I am capable to offer myself to the people to be commissioned anytime, anywhere, any place, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. I'll be there for them. And I talked to them about it. Now,
Ms. Lincoln, if you could adjust your mask, I just worry for your own safety. You're
all right, yeah. Also, as a humanist, I will cultivate myself in a practical manner to deal with the people directly and not a whole lot of talk. Because I live there with them, I eat with them, I eat with the homeless, I go where they're sleeping, I talk with them, I offer them jobs, I offer them free IDs, I offer them housing. Most of the time, they don't want that. But, sorry, I would like to be that candidate to be the commissioner for these people who I can help, knowing that I deal with them all the time. I know them very well. And I know the solution to the problem because Keon Hardiman don't even know the definition of infrastructure. So many times I have told him that we have bad infrastructure in Overtown. How many decades will it take to do this kind of broken sidewalk, light falling down, wires all over the place? He done nothing for the community. So I kindly ask that you may appoint me knowing that I am one of the grassroots level to deal with people, to alleviate homeless. And the question was asked, how will I do that? Alleviate poverty to a level where people can live a good life, because I know where the money is. I know we have enough financial resource, we have land, and we have manpower to alleviate homeless. If the city of Miami, which will be having a meeting with the mayor and the mayor and the city manager to talk to them how to alleviate this in person. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Ms. Lincoln. Any questions?
Yes, I want to know if you were willing to be appointed only until November?
Say that again?
If you are willing just to be appointed for the remaining of the term, just as a caretaker, until November, and then commit yourself not to run?
Yeah, however, I will be ready.
You will run?
Yeah.
Okay, so you, okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Robert Malone, Jr.
Good afternoon. I want to say I do appreciate the opportunity to come before you and just provide some information regarding my candidacy and everything. And I just want to answer your question, Mr. Reyes, because we talked, Commissioner Reyes, as we talked before. I will be a caretaker. I will not run at all. That's not my intention. I don't aspire for power, I aspire to make an impact. So I think that I want you to know that all the commissioners know that that's important to me. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised here, partly Overtown, Liberty City. I graduated from Miami Edison Senior High School, went off to the University of Florida, where I received my AA degree. I have a BS and a master's in criminology and criminal justice from Florida State University. And in 2007, I was awarded my PhD in education leadership at Florida A&M University. I worked as a president of the Homeowner Association, Hadley Park Homeowner Association. I was affiliated with the Community Youth Against Violence organization. I have worked with the Links and providing as a judge and helping young people have the skill sets ready to give speeches. As a recruiter for Florida A&M University, I would come back to this area and provide scholarship opportunities for individuals, young people in District 5, Miami Northwestern, Miami Jackson, and others outside of District 5 as well. I'm just committed. All I want to do is help and serve. I remember, I think it happened last year, the spectacle that we saw on TV where commissioners were at each other's throat, and that was embarrassing. So I just want to let you all know you won't have that issue with me. I will work with everyone. We have 14 neighborhoods in District 5. I want to work with all of them, not just the ones that look like me. And I think we need to make that clear. And particularly what the other speaker was talking about, how the community looked. I just want to be clear about this. For the last 30, 40 some odd years, there have been black representation in City of Miami and Dade County Commission. And Liberty City has looked the same for the last 30, 35 years. I go down Southwest 8th Street all the way down to Tamiami, and it looks different. And there's a reason for that. It's called leadership or lack thereof. And I just want to change that. Also, I made a comment regarding Ms. King and, everyone coming in thinking that she's the only one that is right for this particular position. And that's not true, because I've been here. I was a coach here at Miami Edison Senior High School. I worked in this community. I gave in this community. I'm from this community. And a young black man from Liberty City that went up and they have an advanced degree, that means something to me. And I think others need to understand that as well. So I want to work with everyone, and I want to make sure we have an opportunity to make this district better. And we cannot continue to have this attempt for power grab in this city. The same old kind of BS that continues to go on in the city, where people are affiliated with certain parts or machines, they are placed in these positions. They have an advantage. If you have a special election, and I understand Ms. King has already some money, so you place us at a disadvantage because who's going to run have $100,000 to $200,000 right now to run to compete with that? So you have a caretaker, someone who's not going to run, and then in November, let the chips fall where they may. Let the people who are going to run have an opportunity to raise money and be competitive and say what it is. That's the fair way of doing things. If you do it another way, it's not going to be fair. And again, it is disrespectful to me personally when someone suggests there is only one person that's eligible to be in this position. That is a lie. You have people with great backgrounds that can do this and be here and be qualified and be honest and do the business of the people. And that's all I want to do is help and serve. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You are willing to be a caretaker?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Lieutenant.
Just a moment. I was just checking the resume. Mr. Patrick Owens, please.
Good afternoon. So on behalf of the district, let's just get to work. Questions? You have a question?
Did you, I didn't speak. I'm waiting for your presentation.
I've already committed to staying out of the race for next year. I don't see any change. I'm definitely not interested in a special election. I'm ready to get to work. I'm simply stepping up to the plate because the District 5 seat was vacated a year early. So if it's vacated, you have to step up to the plate.
Okay.
You don't have to have interest for anything else to step up to the plate. A year is a long time, but I'm ready to so let's get to work now.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
So you want to be appointing just for the remaining of the year?
Correct.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay. And you won't run in the November election?
I will not run. I have no interest in running. I've already committed to supporting someone else. If they decided to run, I'm not going to cross them. I have no interest for that.
Who are you going to support?
What's that?
Who did you say you were going to support?
Well, I'm hoping somebody run. I don't think they're interested, but I hope they run, and I've already committed psychologically. If they did run to support them, I have no interest in getting in a race like that. That's just not my interest. I'm simply stepping up to the plate because the seat was vacated a year early.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you. We have Mr. Ronald Page is appearing by Zoom. Are you able to promote him? Is the host able to promote so we can see him on the screen?
He's being promoted now.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, commissioners. I'm elated to be heard. I want to thank you for having me. My apologies, I couldn't make it in person. I won't bore you with the details. Look, I want to get straight to the point. We are here today to either appoint someone to represent District 5 or hold a special election. So I wanted to thoroughly discuss both options. Let's commence with the special election. Voting is important to me. You see, many believe that the Voting Rights Act of 1965 is what eradicated discrimination practices as it pertains to voting in our country, specifically disenfranchising Black folk from being able to vote. Well, that's not the fact. It was actually the 15th Amendment, which was ratified February 3rd of 1870, which gave Black folk the right to vote. But a racist Supreme Court at that time found some of the 15th Amendment to be unconstitutional. The mostly Southern states, again, were able to disenfranchise Black folk from voting, amongst other things, for almost over a century. So I just wanted to be known as a Black man that knows my history. Voting is imperative to me. However, today we have been thrown a curveball. If you haven't heard of it, it's called COVID-19, also known as coronavirus. It has changed everything, including my birthday plans that I had. It has caused us to make some tough decisions that we normally wouldn't have made. And I fear the second wave that we're about to go through is going to be bad. You know, too many folks have COVID fatigue, but the virus isn't fatigued. Look, I understand the deficit was recently reduced. I'm not sure of the exact figures. I think I read $20 million, and then it was a 30 plus $3 million deficit. So we're in a deficit now of about $12 million, based upon what I was reading. That's just what I'm going with. But the fact of the matter is that we still have a deficit. And at this point in time, we have a couple of choices. We can either choose to spend over 340,000, whatever the projection was, for a special election, or we can use that money to be able to provide rental and utility assistance to depleted families during this pandemic. We can use that money to provide assistance to our small businesses and local nonprofit organizations, one that I used to work for, Do the Right Thing. We can use that money to be able to make sure that we don't have to furlough our municipal employees like certain other municipalities, Miramar being one. They had to furlough their employees. So I think that most reasonable people will agree that we need an appointment, but there has to be two conditions that has to be met. No candidate in the 2021 general election should be appointed, period. And the second thing is that the person that, if chosen to be appointed, should make the commitment to not run in the 2021 general election. And while I'm here, I just want to state that I am not a candidate, nor will I seek to be a candidate in the 2021 general election. And one more last thing, this was a tough decision that I was choosing to make, but I think it needs to be said. With all due respect, Commissioner Diaz de la Portela, I have to call you out, sir. because I don't like the game that you tried to run earlier. On October 8th, you had stated, and I quote, "The commission should name someone," end quote. You also stated that a special election would be expensive during that time. The Herald had quoted you on November 4th stating that I think that Christine King would do well for us. They also quoted you stating that you would advocate for her appointment. Now, I have no problem if District 5 appoints Ms. King. She is well advocated for by leaders in our community, and that's all well and fine for that 2021 election that she's running for. But I do have an issue with you, Commissioner, that you would say these things, and all of a sudden, when you realize that Commissioner Reyes and Commissioner Carollo are not going to elect her for this appointment, now you want to be able to say, okay, well, you want a special election because she has over $100-something thousand, and if she runs in that special election, more than most likely, the probability is that she will be selected. With all due respect, sir, I don't think that that move you should have made. It was well thought. It was quick thinking, but I just disagree with for you to basically switch up because you can't get your friend elected. I want to thank you all, commissioners, for giving me this opportunity to be able to speak, and I look forward to the decision that you all make. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Any questions? Thank you, sir.
Same question.
He said he would be a placeholder and did not seek to run.
Okay.
Mr. Mark Pitts, please.
Good afternoon. I appreciate you guys allowing me the time to be here. To everyone that's on the board, I appreciate you giving us this opportunity. My name is Mark Pitts. I'm 42 years old. I was born and raised in Liberty City. To serve in this seat wouldn't be a job, it would be a duty. District 5, over decades, have faced adversity. You want to talk about adversity? This coronavirus, I've lost my mother, my dad, and my brother in 2 months. My dad, Reverend Marvin C. Pitts, he gave this to this community up till he got the coronavirus. He would go in hospitals, he would offer his services, he would pray for strangers. My mother, Dr. Dorothy Pitts, she served this community for over 25 years, born and bred it. She had her own business, Superior Referral Service, where she offered this city job placements, on-the-job training, and residential placements for people to live in. I follow in their same shoes because I care about my district. I've been fortunate over the last 20 years with my current employer to serve as a mentor to our youth because that's where the problem is. We have to continue to create and support programs that enhance our youth because when it comes to our youth, it's cliche to say the children are our future, but that's the truth. As of right now, there are not too many programs that are out there that's supporting our youth. When you have a child that's able to gain access to a gun quicker than anyone in this room, that's a problem. We need to continue to support programs, whether it be through mentoring programs, Big Brother, Big Sister, group homes that support our foster care children and enhance their life so that all our lives can be better. Because if you own a business and a child is continually breaking into your business, then that's a problem also. So if I'm appointed to this seat, this is something that I would employ. Programs that enhance our youth. We know that the job possibilities are not where they need to be, so we need to encourage and promote that. The housing facility also need to be brought up to par. Our previous commissioner, Keon Hardeman, I think he's done an excellent job. I'm just here to pick up the torch. If I'm appointed to that seat, I will be serving on a greater level. But my mission continues, whether I'm in that seat or not. Because whoever's appointed to that seat, I'm going to support them regardless, because the mission continues for District 5 in the city of Miami, because I care about my community. Period. It's time out for the BS. I appreciate Commissioner Carrillo because you speak your mind. From one man to another, I appreciate that. Because if someone is going to sit in that seat for District 5, it has to matter to you what goes on. Because a lot has happened over decades. Like I said, I'm 42 years old. I probably look younger than my age. But I've been around. I've co-hosted shows on Wednesday nights, allowing the community to chime in, giving them the updates on what's going on in the community, called Yahweh Magazine Show with my mother. These are projects that we need to continue to invest in. You have to know your district. You have to know the needs and the wants that's in your district. And again, if I'm appointed to that seat, I will be serving on a greater level, but I will continue to support who's ever in that seat because the mission continues for the greater of Miami and for the greater of District 5. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Pitts, I'm very sorry for your loss. Looking at your resume, is this correct? You've been a judicial clerk at the Juvenile Clerk of Courts for 19 years?
Yes, that's correct.
And that's what you currently do?
Yes.
Very commendable.
And to Commissioner Reyes, if you'd like to ask your question.
Yes, it's the same question. Are you willing to be a caretaker instead of a candidate? I mean, be appointed for 1 year and then let the ships fall in the November election where everybody could, that want to run runs and everybody could vote. Be appointed for just 1 year.
He's asking if you would pledge not to run a year from now. If you were appointed now, would you pledge not to run 1 year from now?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Pitts, you began by thanking us for giving you the opportunity to come up here. Let me say this to you. That's our obligation. When we took on this job, that became an obligation for us to do that. On the contrary, we have to thank you and all the people that are applicants that have come here for having the courage to take a step forward for our city, for your community, that few are willing to do. So we thank you. Having said that, I am very, very deeply sorry of your losses. This pandemic has touched every one of our families, some obviously much, much greater like yours. But this is one that somehow we all have to unite as Miamians, as Americans, to come out stronger at the end. It's not easy, nor is it going to get any easier. Today we had another large amount of COVID cases that were reported from yesterday, over 1,800. And I'm afraid that it's going to get uglier as the days come. So more than ever, we have to be united and be strong as a community. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, 2 more candidates. Stephanie Thomas, please.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. And to all our candidates that's been very patient this afternoon, thank you for your time. My name is Stephanie Thomas. I've lived in the district in the city of Miami since my parents migrated here in the late 60s. My parents moved in 14th Street and Northeast Miami Court. I'm going to take you way back. My mom used to work for Jordan Marsh. My dad worked the Sears at the Sears Towers downtown. So that's how far back I've been in the community. They purchased their first house right behind Miami Edison High School, and their second home currently where I live back in 1978 in Lemon City, near Little Haiti, Palm Grove. That's where I currently live. And living in the area, I raised my children in the district. My daughter went to Law Enforcement High School. My son went to Miami Northwestern Senior High School. They both ran track and field for Miami Northwestern High School, which I'm very proud of them. And currently, they're both in college, and my daughter's about to go into the Coast Guard next year. So I think I've done a good job with my husband in raising our children. And we love our community. From the Morningside Elementary School that I attended, this was a school that I cared about, and I'm noticing that it's falling apart. It's a historical district, and there's changes being made. And these are the little things that matter to us in the community. And I'm here just to, help our community out and make a difference. My background is I'm a public servant. I've been working for a local municipality, City of North Miami, for almost 19 years. I've been a deputy city clerk, a supervisor of election. I've worn many hats. I've served under 8 mayors. I've served under countless of commissioners. So I understand what ordinances are, legislation. I've made many contacts through the National League of Cities, Florida League of Cities, various community activisms, various nonprofit organizations, so I understand about public partnerships, which is very important in our community. Not only that, I have 2 master's degrees, one from Florida International University in health informatics. I have a master in public administration through University of Miami, and I'm currently in another semester doing my doctorate degree. I'll be graduating. So with that being said, we're in a healthcare crisis right now. We have a lot of people that have, as you can see, have lost their lives, and I feel that I am in a great position to bring that gap in our city to help with healthcare access, healthcare coordination. I also have the background and the skill set in public administration, so I can merge the two. I'm about building bridges. I'm about forging alliances. I'm about unity. That's all I want for my community. Being a caretaker is an organic subject for me. I've been a caretaker to my husband for 18 years. He's currently in the hospital since June. I know about taking care of people. Since I was a little girl, I've been taking care of my family members. For some reason, that's the hat that I've been wearing. So I am very knowledgeable in caring for people. So in that sense, I am open to being a candidate for 1 year and bridging and building that gap that we so need in this district and making it easy for the next person that comes in. So that is my speech for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Mr.
Do you have a
Chair,
question?
you said that you will be open to be a caretaker, but you're open to be a candidate. I didn't understand your last
Well,
statement.
I would not run for the next election.
You will not run?
No.
Okay. Very impressive credentials, by the way.
Thank you.
I think so.
Very much so.
Yes.
Deputy City Clerk, is that your current position right now?
No, it's not. I'm actually in community planning and development right now. So I was the business tax receipt manager, so I understand about business taxes, economic development, helping businesses out. So I've been around a couple years in the public sector and volunteered, of course, in the community. So I know about listening to constituents and finding resources to help them out.
Thank you.
That's what I do.
Any other questions?
I'm very impressed with this candidate.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Very much so.
Thank you.
And one last candidate so far, and then I will ask the clerk if anyone else has submitted interest or if there's anyone here today that'd like to be considered. Mr. Jeffrey Watson, please.
I guess at this point we can say good evening. How you all doing?
Good.
I just want to say thank you. I have been supporter and opposer and issue debater with a number of you over a number of years. But I rise to say thank you. Thank you for your efforts, and thank you because this building was my official start in my long journey in public service. One would say that if Miami is the core of Dade County, District 5 is its soul. And because I care, I rise. You seek a participant, a communicator, someone with an experience, roots, and resolve. I have served as externally vice chair of the General Employees and Sanitation Workers Pension Fund for the City of Miami. I run these halls of this building for many years and many years ago. And to friendly correct one of my potential colleagues, I was the first African-American chief of staff of a mayor. If you want to talk about roots, I attended Phyllis Wheatley Elementary School, Alapata Elementary School, Alapata Junior High School, okay? Miami-Jackson and Edison in the course of a week, and graduated from Coral Gables. And I will speak from a spiritual notion that Reverend John I. Ross started Friendship Missionary Baptist Church across the street from Pabst Blue Ribbon Brewery, now almost 60, 70 years ago, that now sits and resides on 58th Street, Northwest 7th Avenue. I have roots in this community. My experience was as a chief of staff of a former mayor, as a financial administrator of the City of Miami Housing Development, City of Miami Development and Housing. This community and this experience elevated me to a national level, where I served as an assistant to the President of the United States of America. And that has been my journey. I've served as vice chair of the Dade County Housing and Finance Authority and chair of the Fair Housing and Employment Appeals Board in Miami-Dade County. So I have the experience to deal with the issues of the day, the issues that confront District 5, because they are not Republican or Democrat issues. They are issues of people. I've been touched and have touched every portion of that district over the years. And so I rise to say thank you for the chance and opportunity, because I bring experience and resolve to make a difference. I've often quoted my commissioner, and at times we debated when we were young political persons and thought that we neither knew what was right or what was wrong, but we had passion for what we talked about. I probably believe today, now more so than ever, he is a very passionate person about what he believes and speaks the truth to the issues that confront the city of Miami. So it's not a question of supporting and elevating District 5, which is the soul of Miami. It is a question of representing citizens that need a voice. So I challenge you during this time. It's really not about whether you spend $1 or $100,000. It's really about there's a public health crisis that exists. You can't possibly forecast what's going to happen in 2 months because no one knows. We only know that it's going to get worse, and we know that because the numbers speak to that. And for that reason, it makes sense for you now to exercise democracy and do what you are supposed to do today. We may know something better come election time in November. Pfizer said they had a vaccine, Moderna said they had a vaccine, and hopefully the persons with the bigger pockets are not first in line, but the people who really need it are the ones who are served. So there again, I rise because it's an opportunity that comes on the heels of a long journey. I look forward to debating the issues with you and resolving the issues that confront the residents of District 5 and all of the neighborhoods that make up the district. I care about the city of Miami, and I care about the people that are in that district,
Thank you.
and hope that I have new ideas in order to add to the ideas and efforts of others, in order to bring about solutions that make a difference in those people's lives. Thank you,
Mr. Watson.
and I appreciate the opportunity. And all that I would say to you, Commissioner, before you ask your question, is I would want you to pledge to not make the district representative, if only caretaking, a lame duck person. Because I think that all of us would have agreed that it would have been better to have a voice, Commissioner Portillo, when y'all was divvying up the money this morning, because nobody cared about whether or not 4 white boys had that conversation. Okay? And they divvied up that money very well. So I would say to you, I have no intention for running in an election in November, but I would serve to talk about, debate, discuss, and resolve the issues that are very important today. You cannot go another day in an important meeting tomorrow without the voice of District 5.
Yes, sir. If I answer your question, sir?
You can.
I have...
Two. Always.
I have too much respect for you, my old friend.
Thank you.
And for this commission, and for the community that you are going to represent if you are appointed. And I will never treat anybody that it is either ending the term or being appointed as a lame duck. All the issues here, and remember, and I want everybody here to remember, that we are 5 votes over here, and your vote weighs as much as mine or any other commissioner. So it's very important. It's very important. So it's that's out of the question. That's not going to happen. Is that question answered, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
If that's the way it is.
Mr. Watson, you did say you would not intend to run a year from now. Could you
I
clarify?
did not intend to run. I do not intend to run.
Would you pledge not to run?
Would I pledge not to run? Most folks would not want me to make that pledge and go against whatever the community might decide. I'll pledge not to run. Okay? I don't know what's going to happen come November. I may not be here in one form or another. So I'm going to have no intentions, nor will I run in November. If what you need is someone to vigorously fight for the people of District 5, to keep the continuity of the past commissioner's service, and to bring about the experience and knowledge that's going to resolve some of these issues that confront you, I got you, and I got them.
Let me tell you why it's very key for us to understand why your position on that. And I think each of us has been taking notes more than anything on what people's position is on that issue that Commissioner Reyes has brought up. What I've seen, and I'm so glad we did take this step to listen to everybody, is to really know that we aren't qualified to decide who will lead District 5 in the long term. It's not our job. It's not our job. And we don't want to be up here sitting as judges of you who have come before us, as someone said, begging. It's not the case. And it's a very difficult decision for us, but what I'm reading amongst the commission here today, and maybe we're not all on exactly the same page, is that if we have to decide something, we want to know that we're not putting a finger on the scale, that we are not anointing the next long-term 4 to 8 year or 5 to 9 year commissioner. And let me just finish, because what Mr. Pitts said to us also sank in the gravity of what is happening in District 5 and how what the decisions that are made there and fought for in this year are so key. So we need someone who is not a lame duck. We need somebody who will make strong decisions for the community. But I feel like, and maybe you all can correct me, if we cannot come to consensus on a placeholder, we would go to special election. And the reason I say that, there may be time to review our charter on this issue, because clearly it was intended that 45 days is about the longest you want to have that seat empty, which would be the case with a special election. But for an election, it's also not very fair. 45 days is a sprint to get to know the community, get them to know you. And so it's for us to really help allow for a fair election, it's to give space for this entire year. But we're only given the choice 1 year or 45 days. And so I guess that's why I want to know which bucket you're in. Because if you want to run to be a long-term commissioner, which it sounds like you're very qualified to do, I would put you in that category. And then I would say I'm still trying to find that placeholder for this year who will pledge.
I think he was clear that he would be a placeholder for this year only. That was clear. Jeffrey, it's been a long, long time. We both have changed a little bit. I a little more gray, you a little less hair. We both have gained a few inches, I won't say pounds. I don't know, your mind might be better than mine. When was the last time we saw each other? I don't know if it was at the White House with President Clinton or when it was, but I was very surprised when I saw your application today. Very pleasantly surprised. It's good to see you again. You certainly, if I could quote one of the college kids in football, you're definitely one in my top 5 in qualifications. Christine, don't be mad at me. I saw a twitch in your eye when you were up here. You're in the top 5 too, so you can be happy, especially when I heard where you're from, Guyana. It's a beautiful place. So you're okay so far. But it's important for us to resolve this. We have 10 days. We might be able to today, we might not, but I feel confident that if it's not resolved today, before the 10 days are up, this commission will resolve it. And I'm extremely proud of the strong, and I mean strong, amount of candidates that District 5 has put forward. You really have been an example to the rest of the city. There's enough candidates here that are extremely qualified to fill in a much larger commission than we have. So I say welcome again, and it's so good to see you.
Thank you.
And thank you for taking this step. I know it's not an easy step for you nor for any of the applicants, and it's a courageous step.
I think that shows the respect and the love they have for the district and the concern of that you have for the whole city of Miami, that we should all work together and try to solve the problems that affect all of us. You see, and that says a lot about all of you guys. I'm real proud of it. Real proud. And it's a very difficult choice. A very difficult choice.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? No. Thank you, Mr. Watson. Mr. Clerk, has anyone else stepped forward to be considered?
No, sir.
So we are left with these 16, some of whom would like to be long-term candidates and run next November, some of whom have pledged that they would just like to be a placeholder for this time. I counted about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. So half exactly. Half exactly.
What I would suggest that we do, it's been a very long day for us, for the applicants. We got even a longer day tomorrow, I think. been one heck of a week.
A fun
I
week.
think it's the longest week we've had since we've all been together as the new commission. So I would suggest that the clerk give us the ballots. We go through 5, 6 rounds. If we don't come to a consensus, then let's see when we could continue this for the next date that we could do it. I don't know if it'll be Saturday or Monday. I do ask not for Friday so we could get a breather from tomorrow's meeting. But we got time. We got, I think, until the day after Thanksgiving. So that's the last day. And I'm confident that we'll come to a conclusion and a consensus in this.
Thank you. And I do want to address Commissioner Diaz-de la Portilla. You had mentioned if we do not come to consensus today, that you would make a proffer to table tomorrow's issues without it. Did I read that correctly? From you?
That's correct. What are we going to hear tomorrow? I remain very concerned, Mr. Chair and Commissioners, on taking votes tomorrow on critical issues without District 5 having a representative.
I would agree with that if it's any issue that is pertaining strictly to District 5, that's a critical issue strictly to District 5. But anything other than that, we need to move forward.
It could be up to 45 days that we don't have District 5 representation.
If it's an issue that has to do strictly with District 5, then I would agree with you. But other than that, we need to go forward.
The question becomes whether what issue is strictly to the city of Miami or District 5, because every issue that we vote on impacts the entire city.
Not necessarily.
Well,
there are issues that are district issues.
Right.
And that's what I'm talking about. If it's a district issue, then I think you're right. But if it's not a district issue, is other than that, then I think we need to go forward.
Okay, so the question then becomes, you'll be the chair, Commissioner, you'll be the chair again tomorrow?
Until the mayor says otherwise.
Until the mayor says otherwise. So you'll be chairing the commission tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay. And so tomorrow we'll have an opportunity to go through every issue and you'll determine, and we'll have a
Absolutely.
conversation about what's in.
In the order of the day, we could decide that.
Okay. Okay.
And again, any issue that's strictly
It's strictly.
a District 5 issue, I have no problem in
I agree.
If we do come to consensus tonight, what is the process for appointment and the timing, Mr. Wysong? Immediate?
Mr. Clerk?
If we do come to a consensus tonight on appointing somebody,
Right.
when do they take office and serve and cast their first votes?
So if you appoint somebody this evening, they would be eligible once upon being sworn in to start serving.
Yes.
They could conceivably be sworn in tonight or
first thing tomorrow morning.
First thing in the
yes.
morning before the
Right.
meeting. So,
Miami is an exciting place.
it's Magic City.
Yeah.
What other city do you know that one day we're 30 million in the hole, and a few weeks later, the finance director or budget director
He's still around.
puts his hand in his back and he finds 28 million.
And I saw, and Commissioner, I saw him walking around still today. I don't know.
Yeah, and he's still around.
Yeah, I saw him earlier.
All right, gentlemen, let's focus, and we'll deal with magic money later.
And where's our city manager, by the way? Is he around?
I haven't seen him in a bit.
He might be trying to stick his hand in the other pocket, see if there's anything there.
So what I would like to do is explain the balloting process, and we can discuss, or we can go straight to blind balloting, but this will be a very open process.
Well, before you do any of that.
Yes.
We have a motion on the floor that you withdrew the second from,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So there's no special election to be
Not-
debated anymore.
no,
So
no.
all we, hold on, so it's a question. So I want to make sure we get the process right because it's important. I'm a rookie to Miami. I want to make sure how you guys operate here, okay? So.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I've heard that, I've heard that. So we have a balloting
You're
process.
not in Tallahassee anymore, Toto.
I know that, obviously. So what we have is, we have to have a motion, I would think, right? to do a balloting process, right? So someone will make a motion and then somebody seconds it, right?
So the way I was looking to do this is that the ballot would basically
The
be part
proper
of a
way, I'm saying
discussion.
is the proper way of doing it, right?
Our votes on the ballot are not official votes for the person. The only vote that's official is once we come to a consensus and a motion is made for one single candidate, and then we vote together. For example, you may vote against someone on your ballot, but when you see that they've gotten the majority of the votes, and we move to appoint, it may be unanimous.
Well,
That's the vote that counts.
That takes away from voting then on the ballot.
That's my point.
Now, if someone doesn't
That's why
vote,
Tallahassee matters.
Someone could ask to make it unanimous then if they want, but I think that
No, they
if we
reserve
vote
the
on
right
the
to
ballot, it is what it is in the ballot. Now then, let's say I don't vote with the majority. I could ask that I want to make it unanimous, which I think would be nice, no matter what the outcome is.
Mr. Clerk.
Yes.
And my apologies for the interruption, Commissioners. Essentially, the way that I was looking at it is if one candidate gets 3 votes, essentially the motion will be made for that candidate. And if there'll be a second, I'm sure, for whoever voted for the candidate, there'll be a motion and a second, and it can be voted unanimously, or if the one person who didn't vote for that particular candidate certainly has every right to vote no, and it could be 3-1. But the idea was with the ballot is that if one candidate gets 3 votes, then you make the motion for that candidate. And I'm sure, again, if 3 commissioners voted for the...
After the fact.
Yes, sir.
After we do the ballot.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. We still need to make a motion. Yes.
Now, I also asked Todd, our city clerk, to add 1 space to the ballot, which is none of the above.
Yeah.
If, for example, you are wholeheartedly against the concept of us appointing and feel that we should go to special election, that is your choice.
Absolutely.
And that may sway where the score is. Then you would need a unanimous, obviously, for 3 people to agree on,
Yes.
if one person were to do that.
Yes.
But that is not binding until we make that final vote with a motion for the appointment itself.
Yes, that's fine.
Right. Now, as you fill those ballots out, the clerk, after we turn them in, the clerk will read who was voted for and who voted for them.
Yeah.
So there will be complete transparency, and those will become a public record, all of the ballots.
The only thing I ask that if we have to, maybe we're lucky and first, right off the go, we get someone, but that we go for at least 5, 6 ballots before we discuss anything further or before we're ready to continue this for another date. So if we could agree that we'll go for, how many would you like, 5, 6 at the very least?
I think we'll play it a little by ear here, because after the first 1 or 2, we'll really get a sense of whether we're on the same page. If we're close, I'd say let's try to finish. And if we're so far apart, we're just simply not coming to a consensus.
You never know.
You're right.
We can get in the first ballot.
I've been here in the past.
We may be able to
where
get in the first ballot, who knows?
We've had ballots for 70 plus votes, and then boom, that's when he came.
Yes, and
God
so...
works in mysterious ways.
It's true. And I'd like it noted that all 16 candidates are fully qualified to be voted on, and
All of them.
all will be listed.
All of them.
This idea, this creation of a concept of a caretaker is simply an intention up here, honestly. It's, again, not in the code, not enforceable. But if we're following the lead of Commissioner Reyes in terms of the hope that this is truly someone that gives a year for a very open election, that's a level playing field for all, we are trusting that the person that is appointed would not run in that election. And so the only thing we have to judge by that is what you've told us today.
Yep.
That's all we have.
Absolutely.
And so I believe I'm a believer in that. You've shifted me today, because I've spoken to several people in the last weeks that I didn't believe in the concept of potentially having a caretaker, because anyone does have the right to run afterward. But I also recognize what people are asking for here with a fair chance for a fair election. And not that 45 days is not fair, and not that it's unfair for Commissioner Hardiman to wish that his objectives continue and hope to pass the torch to someone and support them. Fully legal, fully ethical, fully within the democratic process.
Absolutely.
So this is not to disparage Commissioner Hardeman, Ms. King. I've met you a few times, and I would be proud to work with you up here.
Chair, is it valuable at all to hear from Commissioner Hardeman? Does it matter to us?
I think we passed that already.
Well, no, I mean, before we vote.
Well,
This is something I studied.
The public hearing,
Public hearing's over.
it's over.
It's over.
I think we need to go vote now.
We gotta pass it.
We meet again, you know, he's certainly,
I agree with that.
We have open
It's just,
hearings again,
I'm just against this concept of four white guys deciding what happens in District
Commissioner,
5.
look, please stop with this four white guy stuff, because,
It's true.
you know, it's, you know, you're going to a place, there's nothing racial about this.
Nothing racial.
No.
And, you know,
No.
Don't make it racial.
You're the wrong guy to bring this up to begin with.
No.
Don't bring it up. There's
Actually,
nothing racial about this.
I'm not the wrong guy to bring it up. I think
Of
it's wrong
course.
for four people to decide what happens in District 5.
Well, then don't vote for anybody. if you don't think so.
I'm going to vote for somebody, but
Right.
you know my candidate, and you know why I'm supporting that candidate, but I prefer an election. My initial motion was to have an election.
We're at the point of taking votes. I don't want to, you know, as one member of this body, see any more interruptions. I'd like to see if we could find consensus tonight. If not, I'd like to go home and rest for tomorrow and get prepared for the meeting for tomorrow. That because of this, I missed the meeting that I'm supposed to have with staff to go over. So I'm going to have to do double take tonight of my own. And, you know, if we don't have consensus, then we'll meet again. We have plenty of time. 10 days is an eternity.
May I ask,
agree.
Mr. Chair, that you call for the ballots and keep on, I mean, let's continue this.
Mr. Clerk, if you wouldn't mind? The ballots, please.
As the ballot is being handed out, I would like to request that at the very top of the ballot that you print your name, your district number, and you will select one candidate. At the very bottom is the option for none of the candidates.
Mr. Can I?
The elections coordinator will come by and pick them up.
Now, we're not using that system that I told that could change your votes, right?
No, sir. This is old school by hand.
No, I wanna.
Or that Venezuelan software.
That is fine. No, I made a mistake here because I didn't see that they have at the bottom something I would like to know.
There's no hanging chad here, right?
You had a line that I didn't realize.
Here.
Thank you.
This is the ballot for round one. Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla voted for Christine King. Commissioner Russell voted for Jeffrey Watson. Commissioner Carollo voted for Nancy Dawkins. Commissioner Reyes voted for Nancy Dawkins. No candidate received 3 votes.
Pass it again.
Okay, go at it again.
Go at it again.
Would you like to discuss?
No,
We'll go at it again.
we got it again.
After we do a few more, we could discuss if need be, if we get to a few more.
Yes, yes, I wrote it. Be ready to pass it again.
Commissioners, round two. Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla voted for Christine King. Commissioner Russell voted for Jeffrey Watson. Commissioner Carroyo voted for Jeffrey Watson. And Commissioner Reyes voted for Jeffrey Watson. We have 3 votes for Jeffrey Watson.
Congratulations, Jeff.
I make a motion that this commission appoints Jeffrey Watson to the remaining term of the District 5 commission seat.
I second it.
There's been a motion and a second.
And I move that we make it unanimous. Now, there's a pledge for him not to run. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, Mr. Watson?
That was done
He has
before.
proffered that.
That's not part of the motion.
We cannot bind him, but he has.
That cannot be part of the motion.
We take
The
his word.
record's there, yeah.
We could take his word.
I apologize for my hesitation. It's just the gravity of this moment is important for our
Well,
city.
you better hurry up before anybody changes their mind.
Yeah, because
you know, hit the
we asked
gavel.
them by another vote.
I move that we make it unanimous, but it's important. Why can't it not be part of the motion? Can we ask our city attorney?
I think it can be as long as it's worded appropriately, that we are not binding him, but that it is his proffer to voluntarily. Is that correct, Mr. Weissong?
That's correct.
That's right.
We cannot strip him of his rights to run for office. But
That's
he
right.
can make his
I
own
mean-
promise, proffer, contract.
Did he proffer that?
Letter of intent.
Yes,
He
he did.
He did.
Like others did.
Like others,
Same way.
like 8 more. There were 8.
Now,
'Cause we're-
what we're doing is, after he's gone through the goal lines, we're trying to change the rules again. You know, we should have said that from the beginning. We didn't. We have to take him like we would have taken anybody else to their word. It's in the record.
Well, it just depends on what your motion is right now, because it is in the record, and he did say it.
My motion is simply what it is, that we approve the appointment of Jeffrey Watson to the remaining term of the District 5 commission seat.
Commissioner?
I cannot support that without a specific commitment that he's not going to run. That's not what I heard from him.
I would support that as an amendment. Obviously, I wasn't the mover or the seconder, because I do believe we created a
But that was the
dichotomy
question-
here.
that's
We
the question
created
I
a
was asking.
dichotomy that it did not obviously disqualify others, but it did affect our choice. It affected our vote, and we came with a final candidate.
But he did say
Based
that
on
in
that
the
promise.
record, Commissioner. Now we're trying to put additional
No,
stuff into it.
He said it a couple of times. We've talked to him a couple of times. I mean, we have to at least, I know Mr. Watson for a long, long time. He's a man of his word. He's a man that had been to the White House and worked in many.
If I could, because we are in a moment of potential
Yes,
unanimity
but-
and consensus, which is rare for us.
It's rare for us, but
You might be
I,
surprised. It might be
And-
more and more.
no, we are postponing this. Let's vote.
Just a moment. No, please, I think it is fair for discussion. We've spent a long day here. And Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla clearly believes in Christine King, voted twice for her on this ballot. He is willing to vote together with us in unanimity so that we can move forward for this next year. And I believe we all believe Mr. Watson in his intention.
Absolutely.
But all that matters is the actual resolution and the vote. all of the discussion and the minutes and all of that is gone to history.
To the city attorney,
Yes, sir.
are we walking into quicksand
Yes,
by adding any provisions that could be considered
that's right.
unconstitutional, depriving someone of their rights other than what we had done before, or not?
This would be my suggestion. We could add a whereas clause saying, whereas Jeffrey Watson pledged to not seek election in the 2021 general election, and add that to the legislation. I think anything beyond that would be.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, as long as it doesn't make us liable, you see? And as long as nobody can sue us because we are adding that, I agree with it. We heard it, you see, and I think you should call the vote.
Then as maker of the motion,
That's right.
I have no problem to that
Me
whereas
either.
to be
Whereas
added at the
that
end.
does not, doesn't make us liable.
Okay, so as one of the 4 commissioners present here, I would like Mr. Watson to come up here and tell us that he's not gonna run.
You did that before.
No, but
You
before I
did
vote.
that before. Now, we're putting a motion. Look, this is a man that has served our country at the highest office.
I'm not questioning his integrity.
Well,
But
Yes,
you-
sir.
the
I'm-
problem is here that
We have a
these
right.
are, you wanted the hurl before for us to jump, of putting it in the ordinance, or the resolution, rather. We have. Now, you want him to come up here. Now, we got to bring 20 Bibles out for him
No.
to swear. And then after that, what more do you want, Commissioner? Look.
I'll tell you what I want.
We put the rules beforehand. We're going beyond the rules. We've asked the city attorney for guidance. He gave us guidance. We're putting into the resolution what you want. I don't know what else.
Of course, you're recognized.
When he came before us, I'm not questioning his integrity. On the contrary, I know Mr. Watson very well. He's actually a very, very decent citizen, has done a lot for our community. I want to be sure that if somebody says something, I didn't understand what he said to me.
Mr. City Clerk, can you get the minutes and read from the minutes, please?
But why do we have to get the minutes if the guy could just come up here and tell us? What's the problem with him saying he's not gonna run?
So, if I could mediate just for a moment, Commissioners, I see what you're trying to protect in the integrity, and also you're trying not to badger the person who has come before us.
Of course.
What Commissioner Diaz-Portilla is trying to find comfort in shifting his position.
But he did already.
And so and semantics are important, wording is important. And so the first 2 times he mentioned it, he did say, I don't intend to run. But on the 3rd time we asked him, he said, I will not. And that's my recollection.
It was clear on the record that he stated he will not.
And I made it clear that this was a bit of an issue that we need clarity on.
That's right.
And it was clear
Well,
from that
ask him.
point.
He's sitting there.
So
He's right there.
This is the last one, though, okay? Once he tells you no, you're not coming up with another one, right?
No.
Okay. Jeffrey, why don't you, if you don't mind, and I'm sorry to have to do this to you, come and appease Commissioner Diaz-Portilla.
And Commissioner Russell.
I'm not going to run.
That's right. Read his lips.
Is it all right for you?
Yeah, that's good enough.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the old face I remember.
But you didn't object to him taking the mask off, Commissioner Cardoyo.
Well, he wanted to look at you in the eye.
That's important, but the
And
mask doesn't
he
cover your
did.
eyes.
He wanted you to read his lips.
Yeah.
Read my lips.
All right. So without making light, I would sincerely like to thank all of you for participating in this process. You have spent a very long day, and a lot of, you've exposed yourself to be here, to the potentials of all politics in your community, and I thank you for stepping forward, and I hope to continue to work with all of you. And as those of you who take the concept seriously of running for office, I would love to speak with each and every one of you as you put those campaigns together over this next year. And I'm so impressed with so many of you that have spoken today and that I've met with now, and I would love to work with any one of you.
As a person that tried for so many times to get elected into this position because I had ideas that I wanted to bring in. I am asking you, don't hesitate, don't quit. If that is your goal, it is your dream, and you want to serve this city, please, by all means, go right ahead, run for office, keep on running for office, and come and do your duty serving your community.
Well, we have a commissioner, well, pending this vote right now, we will have a commissioner for the next year. The true race for District 5 starts today and runs for the next year.
Can we swear him in today, though? Can we?
Yes, if he doesn't leave.
Thank you.
Shall we vote?
Thank you all very much.
All right,
that,
thank you. We have to call the question.
Okay.
So we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Roll call vote. Commissioner Diaz de la Portilla.
Yes.
Commissioner Reyes.
Yes.
Commissioner Croyo.
Yes.
Chair Russell.
Yes.
The motion passes 4-0.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
that
you very
inspired-
much. God bless all of you.
In particular,
I have the oath, sir. I've got the oath ready.
You've got the oath ready,
Yes.
so.
So let's go ahead and swear
Mr.
him
Watson.
in. Let's go ahead and swear him in.
Thank you, Jackie. Let's move the chairs. I was just moving the chairs aside so we can administer the oath.
Come on, come on.
Pleasure to actually, we've met before, but it's a pleasure to formally in this moment. So, sir, you can raise your right hand, the one who holds the Bible, put your left hand on. Commissioner Reyes would like to join us.
Commissioner. Watching you all upstairs. Yeah, come on up, guys. Come on.
You're gonna put below the plexiglass.
Gentlemen, I'm sorry. The plastic, we're going to go down.
Okay, let's
Okay, that's a good idea.
The pictures look better.
So you go downstairs? Who do you want to?
So, I'm sorry, sir, you're going to stand to his left because you're going to put your left hand on the Bible and you're going to raise your right hand.
Now we.
Could you, I'm sorry, would you mind just holding that as we're? Is everybody ready?
Hold on, why don't you stand, you're gonna get in the way.
Let me come to this.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll work.
Is that okay? If I can have you raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Jeffrey Watson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
protect, and defend the Constitution and laws
Constitution and laws
of the United States of America
of the United States of America
and of the state of Florida
and of the state of Florida
and the charter
and the charter
of the city of Miami,
of the city of Miami,
and in all respects
and in all respects
faithfully discharge the duties
faithfully discharge the duties
of District 5 Commissioner
of District 5 Commissioner
of the City of Miami,
of the City of Miami,
Miami-Dade County, Florida,
Miami-Dade County, Florida,
to my colleagues
to my colleagues
and to all of those
and to all of those
I represent and serve.
I represent and serve.
I pledge fairness,
I pledge fairness,
integrity,
integrity,
and civility
and civility
in all actions taken
in all actions taken
and all communications made
and all communications made
by me as a public servant.
by me as a public servant.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
What a comeback.
Sir? If I may, sir, I just need you to sign two. I want him to sign it so that he has yes. Yes, sir. So if I can have you sign here. Have you sign here. And I'm going to have you sign. One second. Sign here.
Why don't we start tomorrow's meeting now that we have a...
Okay, bear with me for just a second.
Yeah. I mean...
Sorry.